Brenda's sitting by the window pane, lost her husband, lost her name. Government's hands, they took her kin, but they'll never take her spirit's grin. CPS came knocking at her door, took her babies, left her sore. But Brenda's heart, it ain't for sale. She'll fight back, she will prevail. Oh, Brenda, keep on rising high through the tears, under troubled sky. Life ain't easy, the road's so rough, but love is stronger, love's enough. Empty rooms, memories linger there, echoes of laughter, whispers of care. She plants hope in each day's light. In the darkest hours, she finds her fight. Neighbors pass, they cast their glance. Whispers say she don't stand a chance. But Brenda's dreams, they never fade. In her eyes, the dawn's parade. Sun will shine through clouds and rain. She'll mend the broken, salve the pain. For every loss, there's a new gain. Through every downfall, she'll remain. Sun will shine through clouds and rain. She'll mend the broken, salve the pain. For every loss, there's a new gain. Through every downfall, she'll remain. Sun will shine through clouds and rain. She'll mend the broken, salve the pain. For every loss, there's a new gain. Through every downfall, she'll remain. Sitting by the window pane, lost her husband, lost her name. Government's hands, they took.
Been locked away in chains, 15 years of struggle and pain. Kids taken away by a faceless form. She rises up in the darkest storm. Her voice touches hearts in a broken state. Podcast waves spark their fight and fate. Brenda's strength like a blazing fire. Inspire the lost to lift their
who's got this going. Are you there? Oh, hey, I got the captain online. No? All right. I don't know. That was Darren, and I just wanted to say I was trying to get a hold of him because I wanted him to get my show on. And look at all the people here, and I'm telling you, it's already 10 after. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, so we're running a little late. Thanks everybody that's been in the chat. I've been looking at everything that's going on. We got a special guest today, which I was going to write in the chat, but now I can tell you straight up. Wendy's in the back room. And definitely we're going to bring her in anytime you guys want to let her in. There she is. Hello, Wendy. Hey, Tamil. Hey, Kendall. Hey, Fact Over Lies. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Okay, Wendy. We finally did it. We finally got you. It works. I can't believe it. All right.
It's dark in here though. I can't hear
It's a
very
little
well.
dark, and I don't know if you could turn up your volume a little bit. How's your volume?
Well, I was gonna put a pair of earbuds in, but for some reason they're not working, so you're coming through
Okay.
my Bluetooth speaker. But can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. It's a little on the low side, but I'm a loud mouth, so um, in any case, one of my ears it doesn't work so well. Can everybody hear Wendy? Okay. Yeah, I did maybe just try to be a little closer to your mic, whatever. So Wendy, what do you got going on? Tell me about it.
Well, we have the thing with the attorney going on. We have paused taking emails right now because we are improving the questionnaire. So and then I'm going to have to redo all the emails I sent you guys, and we're going to have to redo it all over again. We just think that the first one go around wasn't going to catch. So we need to do this second one because we're thinking this time this will be better to be able to get them to catch. I do know that some indictments have been written up and they have been emailed to the people that they need to go through. I don't know a lot about that because we don't want to say where they went to put people in danger at this time. Is everything's just a little bit touch and go. It's new to us. We do have phone numbers that I have been putting on your messenger and I've been posting. That there is a skit. I changed Wallace changed the skit. So I have to send everybody a new skit. I need everybody to call every single one of them numbers that I list and then say that skit that I sent
Um,
you.
I was gonna say I had that. I actually printed out so I could actually read it off. If I can find it, Wendy. I swear to God, I am so disorganized, guys. If anybody, Lord help me. I had it up in front of me
You got
earlier,
this.
but um, yeah,
All right.
because what Wendy's talking about is we put out a list of members of the caucus for foster youth. And not only that, I mean, let's call Marjorie Taylor Greene. And pretty much this is who the attorney has got a hold of. So what we want to do is back her up and say, hey, the attorney called you on the 31st of March, and we're following up because, we're parents, and gosh darn it, I'm going to find that, Wendy. I swear. I'm going to find it. It should be here. Maybe I have it up there. Hold on. I'm coming, guys. Um, okay, yes, I do have it. Okay. Um, thought. Okay, so, and then pretty much this is what we thought would be a great idea. And if you need the numbers or anything, just, in fact, y'all could Google it, just look up the members of the caucus, and anybody could freely find out that information. But we have it available and again, my email is brendacameron91@gmail.com. I am calling to follow up with a phone call. that the attorney made on March 31st. Um, she also emailed information to the caucus and asked for your support to enforce 18 USC 242 and 241. I am one of the parents who lost their children with no trial or due process by the judges and court appointed lawyers. The judges and the lawyers are guilty of federal crimes and should be indicted just like the PA judge, that means the Pennsylvania judges in the Kids for Cash scandal, who were sentenced to decades in prison. So these judges did get arrested, and so it is a possibility, and that's why we're running with this idea is if it could happen, get these judges arrested in Pennsylvania, it could happen to the judges that committed crimes in all of our cases. So the dependency judges are guilty of civil people rights violation, just like in Pennsylvania in those judges. We need to enforce the federal criminal law, indict the judges, and release our children as soon as possible. This is a matter of life and death. So, and if you don't want to do that long, I even got a shorter version. I asked the congressional member of the caucus for foster youth. Then you say I'm one of the parents, and that's working with the attorney who lost her children to foster care because there was no due process. I want to connect and give you my name and my phone number. So, and you can even, which I did, I called a few of these numbers and I told them a little about my case. This is what happened to me. And so far I've got some good responses back. I got an email. Sometimes they're going to direct you to the email of the caucus itself, but I would follow up with that too, and just pretty much to let them know the same thing. I'm one of the parents, right? So
This has got to be parent driven, everybody.
yeah.
Parent driven. This is not going to happen if you don't call.
Yeah. That was the other thing we're thinking of is try to get a hold of Paris Hilton, because Paris Hilton was exposing a lot of this that was going on in these institutions and whatnot, but she doesn't know the fact that there was no due process in these cases and stuff like that. She doesn't know the whole picture.
Don't let that fool you when they had them California fires. One of the homes that didn't burn is Paris Hilton's.
Yeah. You notice this?
She's part of Pizzagate.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's why, because, certain people people are saying, notice this, notice this. Well, that's something I did a while back. I've tried to contact so many people. If there's a committee on anything to do with children or what have you, parents, I was calling them. And to me, that was the reason that I stirred up a whole can of worms, because God forbid I'm a mom that is fighting to get her children back and trying to report crimes. But, a lot of these leaders of ours will turn it around and say, oh, this is harassment. Why are you calling here? It's just like, and that's why it really got me discouraged for a long time. And not till recently, I've been calling back like members of Congress and stuff like that, because I had some numbers also. I used to call the White House on a regular basis. Okay, then they're going to turn that around like that's some type of harassment too. So I've had the Obama administration, they blocked my number and all kinds of things. It's like definitely once Obama got in there, it's like we tried to work with all these different administrations, just trying to help. Like before I knew all about this stuff that was going on with trafficking children out of DCF and stuff like that. We were trying to make the world a better place even before that. So, and even though we worked on like violence prevention and things like that, we had no idea of what was going on with CPS, like not at all. So that's why we're coming on here, is trying to inform people too, is you got to be careful, because You better count your blessings, because if CPS comes knocking on your door, it's pretty much too late at that point.
Right.
You got to know how to handle the situation. Yeah.
Another thing that I was thinking about, Ted Nugent. You guys know who Ted Nugent is?
Yes, I do, and I have his number of his agent as well.
If you
Um,
get on his website, he's got several different kinds of email contact, and they have the addresses and stuff of where you can contact and where he's at, because he's really good friends with Trump.
that's right.
And he could encourage it because he's all self what do you call it, he funds his own concerts and stuff. He got out of the music industry because of the Satanism and the child trafficking. He don't believe in it at all. So another one that we could probably try to pressure is Ted Nugent. The Oval Office has a direct contact number, you guys. If you Google the Oval Office, it'll come up direct number of the Oval Office. We need to call the Oval Office too.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I have it
Oh,
screenshotted in my phone. If you guys
okay.
want the number, hit my messenger up or hit my cell phone, whatever you have,
Okay.
and I'll give you a copy of it, because I think if we call because that's
Yeah.
direct contact to Trump. Now, we haven't been able to get any direct contact with Pam Bondi, but I downloaded X, and I don't like X, but I downloaded it and I contacted them directly off of X. I hit Donald Trump, I hit Marjorie Green Taylor, I hit Elon Musk. So
Um, So,
I
I did that too, because I don't know what's going on with the X. Like I know, like, I can take a post and put it on there, but then I'm like, where did it go? I have no idea. But yeah, I connected with that I swear to God, that's the three people I connected to. The Elon Musk, yep. But did you hear about this Hollywood thing that they put together? What was it? Um it has Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone, and John Voight. Okay, now they have this, like, apparently some type of thing going on at the White House. Okay, now Mel Gibson. He knows about the child trafficking and things like this. Okay, and a lot of people want to put him off to be crazy or whacked out there, but isn't that the way they try to do anybody that's talking about these horrible things?
hold on a second, Brenda. Kendall K. I want to give you Wallace's number. But on the other hand, as of your first response, the Trump administration is fully aware of what's going on. He is not happy. He feels that the American people's rights are being messed with too much. He has the authority to fix this, and he's not doing it. So it's
Yeah,
pressure we have to put on them.
yeah,
And he has to be careful, because you guys have to understand, it's the elites who run the world behind the scenes that have a lot to do with why our children are being trafficked. So with him messing with the education department and the hospitals, everybody thinks, well, he's trying to do this, he's trying to do that, it's all bad. No, us parents need to keep, watching this stuff, because we have to read between the lines. He did that to help us parents because of the trafficking that's going on. Now, Doge can't touch CPS until after we take the judges out criminally. I don't know who's putting this in your head and making you drink the poison Kool-Aid, that CPS has the authority to change all this around. No, they do not, because it's the court that is to make sure that CPS has followed the laws and there's no fraud and there's no
yeah.
corruption. CPS cannot do anything.
The
Governor, I
judges
know
have
you're running this
control of.
program.
The
I
judges
wanted to
have
come
control.
on when you were on, when I seen that video you were running. I wanted to get on and say, hey, this is why it didn't work. You called me a willy-nilly and said we just don't let nobody on. We need to screen them. I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm not a willy-nilly. I'm the main advocate that brought this out. And I do not appreciate you discrediting my reputation and humiliating me on live YouTube. You
Hey,
just, you
can I
just,
jump in here
no,
for a second?
no, you're going to let me talk. You just made it
This
10
is
times worse
this is
for
Darren
us
now.
to be
Darren's
able
there.
to do what we are doing because you discredited me on YouTube when we are trying to get this as many parents in as possible.
What are you talking about, Wendy?
This is
The other
Darren. Darren's here
night,
now.
Darren, the other night, when Gunnar had a program with his wife, I'm shaken, I'm upset. There was a video he ran about a judge that went into a Supreme Court, and I caught like the last 2 minutes of it, but it was enough for me to catch why it didn't work. And when Gunnar was running it, I asked him, put me on, put me on. I can tell you why that didn't work. He said, Wendy, I know you're there, but ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand everybody has to be screened, and we just don't let no willy nilly on. That's what was said. So
Okay.
our whole operation got sabotaged because I was discredited.
I don't think he was doing anything to discredit you. I think he was just
Yes, he
making a
did.
point that because Wendy, if everybody was begging to come
No.
on or asking to come on, and he did that, it would be everybody. I think he was just making a point, saying, "Look, people need to be screened to come on, not necessarily anything about
Really? Do I
you."
need to be screened, Darren?
I know that you don't have to. I'm understanding that, but you know what? He's just doing his job too. He's got a
If
job
you
to
would
do. He
have put
doesn't just
me
let
on,
anybody come in.
He's
Darren, if you
got
would have
his
put me
separate
on with the
show,
amount of
Wendy.
people that was on that night, I could have told everybody exactly why that didn't work.
That is
Everybody
not
could have got explained
And
as
this is
to
not the place
why.
for this either.
Oh,
no.
This is not the
and
place.
don't discredit me on
That is
YouTube.
not. Hold on. That is not what I said. I said everybody is screened, so we stick to
Well,
topic and
you
everything
offended
else.
me.
This is not an open platform show.
Well,
I
you offended
explained
me
that very
because
clearly.
I worked very, very hard to get the
That is not what
reputation
was
I got
said,
All
ma'am,
right,
today
guys,
and
on
we're
what
not
you.
doing
YouTube.
this here.
Yes,
And
let's
I
stop it.
apologize if there was something that was mistook,
And I'll
but that
take
was
that
not the
apology because
intention.
we all have to work together.
I wasn't even jumping in because of this. I had a question, but all right, me and Gunnar are out of here. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Brenda.
Well, ask your
Okay, and
question, Darren.
Wendy, your voice is getting a little bit lower. So I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you now. I mean, I can still hear you, but it's not that loud.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a lot better now. Okay,
Well,
but
now everybody's angry at me.
no, see, okay, so I can understand there were certain words used that I think didn't, it made a Wendy feel pretty bad, and it would have made me feel bad too. And but you guys, if you do want to come on a show, I think pick what show that you want to come on first, and then talk to that individual that's doing the show. Everybody's got their own thing. With me, it's going to be easier to get on my show because I really don't have like a set thing that I do every time. I'm pretty much blah blah blah. That's what I'm doing. Just trying to inform people, kind of say if anybody's got something going on. Like Debbie keeps coming into everybody's show. Now she says her daughter has found out the old caseworkers did not work for TFI no more. TFI is what? You know what that is, Wendy?
I don't know what TFI is, and maybe if there is some way we can find out why they don't work there anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then I noticed that happened with my case too. Like the main caseworker or whatever, like they don't work there anymore either. I mean, mine of course is a lot of years later, but I found out not too long after my case was closed, like she was nowhere to be found. No, she doesn't work there. No, she does have no forwarding information. I did find out about my case, the casework supervisor or whatever, the CPS person or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
He now works for something called Alachua Academy. And that's what we got to be careful, guys, is these institutions that are throwing our kids that have delays, autism, or whatever, that really aren't very bad off, but they think they can take that and throw them into these institutions, and there's constant abuse of our children going on. And that's why we got to act so like we can't back down. And like I said, and Wendy's saying, I'm telling you, the only way to do this is get those judges arrested, because ultimately they are responsible
Well,
for those CPS workers, no matter what they're doing. If
yep.
it's good or bad, they're responsible. It goes back to them, and that's breaking federal law. Thank you very much, Albie.
That's under
Um,
the 14th Amendment under color of law that
okay,
our
and
rights were
Albie, yep.
violated.
So CBS is run under federal law, but is housed with state laws and is an agency for each state. That's what Albie's saying. I don't know. I like I say, I'm not that smart when it comes to all this stuff. I'm learning just like everybody else is learning.
We are all
Um,
learning. Just
yeah.
like we were all going to go into a courtroom and think we were saved.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and then like our attorneys like told us, our court appointed attorneys said, well, if you sign this mediation and agree to this case plan, this is going to be the fastest way to get your kids back.
I
So
wouldn't
what do you
sign a
think?
case plan. Nope. I wouldn't sign
It's
nothing.
it doesn't, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I went in there blind. I had no idea. My husband was like, no, I don't want to sign this. I say, he says he wants to go to trial like right away. But yeah, so it was like between me and him, I was like, I don't know. Somehow I was putting trust in these people that were not working for us. They were working for the state, and
Yes.
they had an agenda, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah. And if you guys have a question about who you should contact or who you believe will help, I've been in the rabbit hole twice. So contact me. Make sure you contact me before you go asking them for help too, because we don't want to give them information that we don't want them to have. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
So we don't
exactly.
want anything to jeopardize. We're calling this Operation Perp Walk.
That's
That's
what I'm
what
wondering.
Wallace calls us.
What does perp mean? I don't even know. Like, what does that mean?
Perpetrator?
Oh,
Perpetrator?
perpetrator. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys.
That's what she, I laughed when she told you
It's
guys are
different
gonna
than perv, okay? Well, I don't know. Sometimes, like in a lot of cases, it's the same thing, though, when it comes to,
I think she
yeah,
kind of means both though.
right.
But you know she's gonna be sneaky about it.
What else is going on? All right, you guys,
Oh, let
what?
me say something real quick. The cartel, immigration. All right, you guys got to understand, and I'm glad I got to say this because there's a lot of people. Cartel is part of trafficking our children. MS-13 is part of trafficking our children. The mob is part of trafficking our children. A lot of the mob is in what they call the Red Shoe Club, and that's where they torture our children and skin them while they're still alive to make red shoes. If you see, the
Mm,
Pope has a pair. David Bowie has a pair. Who's that guy that played that drunken sailor? Johnny Depp has a pair. Tom Petty has a pair.
well,
Who?
Tom Petty, and isn't the other one you mentioned already died. Um,
Yeah. And the lead singer of Aerosmith. What is
whoa.
his name?
Um, I never remembered that. Yeah, I know who you're
I'm sure
talking
Darren would know.
about.
Or Gunner. Um,
Um,
he's part of the Red Shoe Club, which makes me sick because he's an excellent grandfather. Um,
I mean, do you think they know that they're part of this, or
Yes,
they
yeah,
don't?
that's why Trump is taking out the MS-13 and the cartel.
Okay, so what is MS-13 for people to know?
MS-13 is it's a different kind of cartel.
Mm,
It's basically the cartel, but it's a different cartel for the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans.
okay. Oh,
Um,
somebody helped us out. Steven Tyler. Oh
Steven
no.
Tyler, yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm going to take this call from my husband. So, Wendy, you
Oh,
go
put me
ahead.
on the spot.
Yeah. If anybody didn't know, my husband's locked up for a freaking cartoon post that shows a judge, it just pretty much talks about pedophile judges, and they don't like being called names, apparently, like judges. Not that, and how many people have the name like Jennifer Johnson? How many people have that name? Across the country.
Yeah.
And the only way they're going to see that is if they're looking at our stuff. They're typing in Chris Cameron. What's Chris Cameron doing? Because they can't get enough of us, apparently.
You guys, I do want to say this, and I'm going to put Brenda on the spot. Brenda's husband lost his Social Security being locked up, and Brenda is going to be struggling
Okay,
financially.
I'm gonna take this.
So if you guys could help her out, she's not asking me for it or anything. This is my
Oh,
idea. I'm
oh,
going to
wait.
send her some money to
Okay, you
put
want
on her phone
Wendy's
so
talking
she can
about you
keep in
right now.
contact with her husband.
Actually,
So if you guys want to help her out a little bit here and there, I know we're all struggling, but with me moving, I had one of our clients help me move to Bowling Green before I head out with Brenda and Pam
um,
because I have some
all
things to
right. I
share
love
with
you
her.
very much. I want to say hi to
Um,
your biggest fans. Okay. Well, even though I'm your biggest fan, say it.
Yeah, I love you. I love you, everybody.
Say
Bye,
Thank you.
Chris.
I love you. Bye.
it. All right.
Have a good time. Thank you for the show.
All right.
Bye.
Call me back after a while. All right. Love you.
All right. Bye.
But anyways, one of the clients had helped me with moving of putting a down payment and first month's rent on where I have to go for my summer spot, and because I've been struggling, and I want to pay it forward a little bit. If you guys could help Brenda out, I would be grateful, please.
Yeah, I'm trying to do what I can. I'm trying to figure out if I can get on Social Security, but that's like a struggle, and that always takes a lot of time.
All
And
you got to do though is I'm pretty good about finding resources for your mortgage and your bills and
Mhm.
food and stuff like that. Just let me know and I'll work with you, and I'm sure if we put our heads together we can.
That's one thing is that me and Chris always did is like when we bought a house, we paid for it by cash. So that's one problem we don't have is having to pay mortgage. So we were like pretty much in the business of flipping houses, and that's what we did until they wanted well, we continued to do it even after the kids were gone because we had to move out of Dixie County, Florida, because they kept arresting us for absolutely nothing. And it was kind of weird. If I don't know if you guys, same thing happened to you, but when we moved there, and then all of a sudden, my husband starts running for sheriff, and then they're trespassing us for the local newspaper. They're trespassing us on the county attorney's office. And I'm like, what does this even mean? And they bring a paper to your door. No, they didn't bring a paper to my door. They're reading off something. And I said, I think it was off their phone. And I said, well, you have a copy of this? And they're like, no, you're just trespassed from this place. You're never. I'm like, what
They
the?
did that to me. Hmm. I
and
didn't
and
have
then
a warrant.
later on, okay, when I went to rescue my daughter, and this one guy, Jason Katz, okay, that works at Alachua Academy now, that houses up to 28 girls, some creep, he's telling the cops that we were trespassed from most major government buildings in Dixie County, Florida. I'm like, what? Those were not major government buildings, and I don't even think there is a major government building in Dixie County, Florida. Oh my God, it's a little good old boy town. That's what it is.
I know they tried to do the same thing to me when they put that warrant on me when I had a court
Mm.
order for my daughter for a judge, that guardianship was temporarily canceled with my mother, and they bring me in a phone. And I looked at them. I said, "You better bring me," because back in the day when they gave out warrants, didn't you have to sign them?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I didn't have nothing in my house. And then they printed out what was on the phone, but it wasn't even notarized. They said, "Well, you got to be kidding me." So they entered my home and ruined my camper door illegally. And children's
Um.
services, it was all because I didn't let children's services in my house, so they got me for interfering with custody. Well, how am I going to interfere with custody when I have a court order by a judge that says I can have my daughter? And then they jump counties to do it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I was put in prison for interfering with custody and crossing state lines. And they put me in prison on a 24-month sentence, followed by 3 years of probation. And pretty much I was finished up with my probation, year and a half ago or whatever. And right after I'm all done with it, I'm like, okay, great, we're done. Then they arrest my husband. So they just really can't get enough of locking us up and shutting us up. They can't stand what's coming out of our mouth, guys. And that's a real problem.
I
Um,
did put I did put a video out in some of the side rooms, and I did post it in some people's messengers. I want you guys to watch that video because our children are being trafficked in because of the people that are behind this. This was all planned. This is all to push us into the New World Order and take our rights away. So if there is somehow, some way, we can find an avenue to start attacking and going after these elites, I'm thinking if it doesn't work with the judges, which we're pretty sure that it is, because once we get them arrested, I want everybody to know these children immediately get returned to you. There's no more court cases. There's no more nothing. As soon as that judge arrested, you can go get your child, and there's not nothing nobody can do about it.
that's why I'm wondering, Wendy, since the same judge that stole my kids said that my husband arrested or said that my husband threatened her in some way. So wouldn't that be able to set my husband free as well? Um, okay,
And then your
because
husband could go after the county and the state because he was put in prison illegally and lost all that time.
yeah. So it's been a year, and like I was telling or posting on my Facebook, which I really didn't do it till later today, but this is 9 years that my children was taken out of the house. 9 years, and
My
then
girls were my girls were taken from me in 2017, and I haven't seen them in 3 years.
okay, so my kids were taken in 2016. Last I've seen my youngest, Chris, he that was right before Christmas in December 2017. Now with Sage, like I said, I tried to get her out of this abusive foster placement because she was begging me to get her out of there. But that was around Mother's Day of 2019. And then, as far as I understand it, after I was arrested, she wasn't taken back to that placement as far as I understood it. And then I'm locked up. There's no, meanwhile, my son, my middle son, he was already approved and certified through home study, ICPC, and all the stuff to take custody of his siblings in Louisiana. And while I'm locked up, I had no idea until 2 years later when I got out of prison that they adopted my kids out on April 1st, 2020. And I was thinking about that the other day because Trump, he didn't want to do something on April 1st because he didn't want it. He said he's superstitious. And it seemed to me it's like every time they did something in my family, it happened to be somebody's birthday or a holiday, Black Friday, something like that. It was
Spiritual
like really
warfare.
weird. Mm-hmm.
Spiritual
Yeah.
warfare. Yep.
Oh, okay. It says Amy, but I know who you are. So, that's actually Chris Later. Now, Chris, um, Naylor is in the same region as I am, or my case is in Florida. So that's why I'm so glad that his wife is coming on board and sent the information in regards to the case and the judge. And it's really not that hard, guys. When you answer these questions, it's going to be so easy. Like
Yeah.
it's not bad. Even the way it is right now, it's fine. It just like people got to understand it makes it easier for us if you can get it into the email and not through messenger, because to me, like, I'm an old lady, guys. I mean, I there probably is a way to do it, but I'm not gonna waste my energy to try to figure that out. It's easy enough. I got it done. If I can do it, y'all can do it too. What is okay, action against one's will, the person subject to duress and forced to do something they would not otherwise have done, or enter into an agreement they would not what would not have entered into freely. Exactly. That's what it's getting into, the contracts. A contract signed under duress can be voided by the party who was coerced.
And I agree
Um,
with that because when we were all in the courtroom losing our children, we felt like we had to agree and we had to sign
right.
it because we weren't given, nobody advised us of anything.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
And see, the
exactly.
judge is supposed to do that.
What else?
Don't forget, we also had our right for a trial, and we never got that.
Yeah, yeah.
The third
Or
thing I want to tell everybody, don't go back into a courtroom that didn't follow the law in the first place. I know some people have been successful at it, but long term, with a lot of other people, that's how you're losing your rights, and these children are getting adopted out because you keep going back in and going back in and going back in. You know what I mean? So, what they're doing as you're doing that, because they're not following the law, they're building a case on you to take your children and strip your rights.
mhm. Yeah, I'm in total agreement with that. Um, I don't know what I was going to say though. Um, Yeah, because it seemed like, you can when you think back on it, if you think back on your cases, like how it all started, it's like, oh, well, and I still to this day, I go through my paperwork. For some reason, it's either easier for me to have a pile of paperwork than to put it up on my, in my computer or whatever. I do have it in my computer for the most part. I still have to, like, I've been using like cam scan or whatever, and trying to get my stuff all in order, because I'm telling you, even after so many years, I have found stuff that I'm like, I had no idea. I don't remember this. So we have to build up our own cases so that we're ready if this information is needed. And then we can go and say, okay, well, look at what happened here. Look at what happened here. Because generally, in my case, when we had TPR, for some reason, they omitted two evaluations, one for my son and one for my daughter. And the one that was done on my daughter was from a neuropsychologist, and she stated that my daughter needs to be in contact with me for her social, behavioral, and emotional well-being, and that this needs to get to the judge ASAP. Well, this lady was her name was never brought up at the trial. I never even knew about this lady until I saw this in my discovery. What was it? 3 years later? Yeah, in my Charlotte County case. So I would have, if I would have never had these 2 beautiful days with my daughter, I would have never known all that stuff that I know now, because they try to screw you every step of the way. When I thought I had all the paperwork, guess what? I didn't. I didn't. And that's why I always pushing everybody, if you can get your court media as well, because
They don't
you
give it
only
to
have a
you.
certain amount of time to get that too. Time will
Right.
run out, and they'll have excuses they don't have it anymore. Did you ever get your court media for your cases, Wendy?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
They won't give me nothing. They won't even give me my case number. They won't even give me a copy of my case file. I went up there like I was told to by the attorney, And to get, to get my case, they won't even give me my case file. They had two court dates that I didn't even know about it, and they had all my contact information
Uh,
and took my visitation and everything away, and I didn't even know it. My case is a little different than the rest of you guys's. I was in the hospital fighting for my life. I almost died. I almost died when I instructed my mother to bring my children up to the hospital for emergency blood because the hospital was low on blood, and children's services are not, because my mom didn't take the kids until after I come home from the hospital when the income was going to leave. But while I was there, she refused to bring my children up to the hospital and told my doctor to let me die.
my goodness.
I was in physical therapy because I come home to go back into mom's house because the girls were there to be able to heal. She quit feeding me, quit bathing me, ran all of my aids out, and my father, who had just had triple bypass surgery that come from the hospital, was driving up to the dollar store to get me a cup of soups to feed me. And while I was at physical therapy and I was almost to the point to where I was going to take the kids out and I got an apartment, they
Hmm.
tried to have the court date behind my back. The court told them how to have a court date behind my back.
Whoa,
Yeah.
man.
Mhm.
I remember they had a court date, but even though it was, we already had a TPR, but for some reason they were having this court date, and maybe, yeah, I guess it was after TPR. So why are they sending me a notice? So I go down to the court, right? And they wouldn't even let me, like, I know they have a security measure on my husband for some God reason. This man never showed any violence in his whole life. But I was going to go down there and go in. And they, like, stopped me in the hallway. They said, no, no, the judge doesn't want you there. I'm like,
Yeah, like,
oh,
yeah, like, you got a paper, I'm here.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh,
When I
no, the
went to
judge
go
changed their mind. They don't want you there.
when I went to get my case file, they told me they don't give them out there. I had to seek an advice of attorney. And when I went to file the waiver to take my mom back into court, they wouldn't even let me file the waiver. Oh, well, we don't do that in this court. I said, it's a law. You can't tell me that. Well, you need to seek an advice of an attorney. That's what I got told. And get this, guys, the same judge that emancipated me from my mother for abuse, because when I was 16, I told the judge, you get me out of that house or somebody's coming out in a body bag because my mom was beating on me so bad. So they emancipated me when I was 16. The same judge gave my children to my mother
Well,
after he emancipated. Oh,
mhm.
yeah. The whole
See,
county can't touch me. I can cause so much trouble. And because my mom and dad had such a name in Swanton and they've dealt with all these peoples in the courts and attorneys, nobody in Swanton can touch me.
wow.
Nobody. They're all biased and they all know I'm an advocate and they all know I know the law and they don't even try.
See, yeah.
But there's a downfall to that. I can't rent nowhere in my town. I can't even go to the grocery store because the cops will try to arrest me for
See, and
anything.
right, and that's exactly how we felt when we were in Dixie County, Florida. We couldn't do anything. Like, the cops would follow us.
Yeah.
It was just like, some people think, oh, you're paranoid or something like that. No, it was actually the reality that the sheriff's son was in my house, because they're stealing the bids on these state-run programs for weatherization, and literally just started destroying my house. So again, with that same judge, Judge Jennifer Johnson, I tried to put a small claim in for the damages that were done on my house. I see it was going absolutely nowhere because they kept trying to throw it out. And so I called the insurance company that this guy worked for. I swear to God, that guy came down, did an estimate, checked out all the damages, and I ended up getting like $5,000. And that was the real reason I think they were pissed off at us. But and yeah, and so not long after that, in fact, I think there was still another court date coming, but I wasn't going to ignore it anyway because I already got the check coming from the insurance company. But
Right.
by the time of that I got that court paper, my kids were already taken. So you think that doesn't have something to do with these, like the sheriff, working with the CPS and the judges? They're all friends. It's just, I guess that's another name for the good old boys, because they're all in it together. Apparently, they don't like, and especially a lot of times it happens in a small town. Like, oh, you haven't been born and raised here. We don't want your kind around here, right? They just want to. Oh, you guys, I have the weirdest story about that house in that we used to live in over there, where the kids were taken. Like, I go down there the past last summer, and I see that I go by my old house figuring it's a thriving home. I sold it to this beautiful couple with a couple little kids. It's all overgrown, the doors off, the front doors off. I go inside, it's all gutted out. I mean, I swear to God, Wendy, I'm going to show you the picture of the house, what it looked like when we sold it in 2018. But then, so I go back, what was it, about 2 months ago? And go back through. I'm going to go look at the house, see what's going on there now, because I was coming to find out they're trafficking kids, and this is what Dixie County is doing. And it has to do with these school buses. I mean, I got information that they are these gutted out school buses. Some guy named Billy Battle found in one of the junkyards that he saw these kids chained up in a bus. He goes, makes a report right away, okay? And all these witnesses know that he went to make this report. The sheriff department didn't do anything about it. Now all of a sudden, Billy Battle was missing, nowhere to be found. So, and then why I brought that up is because when I went back to my house a couple months ago, my old house, it was completely burnt down. And the bus that was sitting behind my house, that wasn't there. It would have been a metal frame, right? If that was burnt, no, they must have pulled that thing out of there, and because the bamboo was all overgrown. It was so weird, guys. And the only thing standing left of that house was that kids' room. Well, kids' room was right there. It didn't burn down the kids' room. I was like, whoa, that's really messed up.
Wow.
That it is like, it gives me the chills with the what these guys. I mean, they wanted to erase any like, I don't know, memory or any evidence of us ever being there. Because I'm telling you, that was the only, every other house down that road was a mobile home. There was the only 2-story house. It was beautiful. I'm telling you, it was beautiful. And I just can't get over it. But we're getting down to the last of our minutes, guys. So, Wendy, is there any last words you have to say about this crazy bullshit that we're having to go through? And there's Chris again.
This is parent driven. When we text you,
What? Okay. Wendy was cut off, but I've got Wendy's email. I'll put it up as well. Or like I say, BrendaCameron91@gmail.com. Make sure that you guys get a hold of me or whoever you want. I need Danielle as part of this too. So make sure that you get a hold of us. And at that, we're out of here. And too bad Wendy was cut off, but I do have her email address if anybody needs it. I'll put it up in the chat too. All right. You guys, this is Brenda Cambron, and never give up. Oh, there you are. Wendy, tell me you were cut off. Tell me what you're going to say.
yeah, I know my phone froze, you guys. I about broke my phone. I got all your guys' case files in my phone. My phone is like, no, we can't do this. Anyways, this is going to be parent driven. We are not going to get these children home if you just let the advocates do this. Contact your advocates. We will be there. We will walk you through it. If you need to, if you want to send us emails right now, we're taking a break on it, like I said, because we're redoing the questionnaire. If you haven't got an email from me yet, but gave me your email, give me your email. We got, right now we got 3,000 parents that we are doing this for. This has to be parent driven. And as soon as they go to jail, everybody, you will have your kids back that day.
All right, guys. All right.
So
And as I say, If
I'd
you're
love
not
to.
emailing Wendy, email me or Danielle or message us, whatever. You guys know how to get a hold of us. And
If you
I'll
don't
be
get a hold
here.
of me, I'll get you with the attorney.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy, for coming in. I appreciate you. All right. Take care, guys.
In
Thanks for joining.
1776, brave men put up a
All right.
fight.
Have a good night,
Mowing
you
down
guys.
redcoats, they wanted freedom. They had to fight, and now we take the sacrifice in vain. They loaded their muskets, fired them one by one. That's why we have the freedom to own a gun, but we are blowing it. These freedoms were created by those before us. They were to be something that stays. But now things are so corrupted, they're taking our rights away. Hey, Uncle Sam, where did you go? I called Washington today, but nobody's home. We all want to stand for our freedom, but nobody wants to do it today. Can't you see time is a waste and the Constitution we love is fading? Don't tread on the reality, or the USA will be the next casualty. We are here for freedom, those we will protect. Unite for the values we cherish, but watch everything perish. Our men have fought for our freedoms, many women have too. Their blood spilled upon the ground. With the news, many frown. They paid a price that many won't pay. Now we are letting the cause fade away. The graves are being neglected by the actions of so many deceptive. The freedoms they fought for in every world war, conflict or mission. So many stayed behind signing petitions, while those awake dying were there to protect them. It's time to wake up in the USA. We are all slipping away into the darkness we once ran from. It's getting worse every day. Now they are taking our children more and more every day. No soldier ever fought for taking our children away. This is not why they bled for our freedom. They didn't die for some cheap pay. We all need to come together, fight this corruption, and it starts today. We need to wake up America, go back to parades, remember true family values, laugh again as children play. These are the things we fought for, 200 years strong, but now we're losing all of this. Don't tread on me does exist. So rise up and be strong. We don't have to go along. We need to push back now, like our forefathers did. It's time to bring back the way it was, when families lived together, all that mattered was love. It's not always easy to take back what they have grabbed. With all of us together we can do it, two loving children and mom and dad. This is our country, it's called USA. So many have fallen, say don't tread on me today. It's time to wake up in the USA. We are all slipping away into the darkness we once ran from. It's getting worse every day. Now they